My cat bit me last night. Got a little spot right there. But I was antagonizing him. I was, playing with him. And he got me. But hello, anyone. As I was laying down, I think it was last night. Can't remember whether it was last night or the night before. I think it was the night before. But GangStalker Ian or Michael or one of the group, I don't know which one it was, pretending to be Ian or whoever however they do it, using their voice modulation crap. Had came off accusing me of having a nuclear weapon, being a murderer, and all the other crap that they always try and do. It's all day. Well, this recording is 26 minutes, so I haven't listened to it myself, so I don't. The last one, the 39-minute one, I kind of listened to it beforehand, and heard some of the stuff that they were saying, so I knew when to expect the robot voices and crap and the demon sounding crap they were trying to do. This one, they were being relatively defensive this time, because I'd turned it off for a while, and then they started off on a spiel about something else and were getting defensive. I don't know if they were getting defensive with me or the people that they had watching, but I'm gonna replay it. This one, they had modulated down the V2K broadcast. It's not as loud and belligerent as last night was. The last 39 minutes was. As you can tell, this second recording was the same night in the same setting as I was laying down, and they modulated the volume or frequency down that it's a lot harder to hear, but it is still the same evening in the same place. Just like after that other recording was done, this was like started 20 minutes later when they were defending themselves to the people that they're spewing this crap to. Saying stuff to him like, "Oh, we're not doing anything to him. We never did anything to him." But they've been doing this to me for over 3 years. That's not doing anything, right? I mean, I've never used Zoom ever once in my life, but they've presented me on Zoom before. I'm sure that sometimes that's where they're doing this crap, or they're, doing it in privates or whatever, or Discord, but I think it's Zoom that they're using, and they're using I don't know, a fake representation of me using my voice and to, make me look bad. Just like they did on the one video that I presented several days ago, of how they posted it on YouTube that I was in a Zoom meeting with these people on a channel, and it wasn't me at all. I didn't even have internet when they did that. I totally agree with your statement. If that's not the most heinous uh, offense against your civil rights, your privacy laws, whatever, I I don't know what is. Someone invading your private thoughts and that, yeah, stealing your intellectual property, all of the above. Well, I am not BSing you at all when I say that um, there are a lot of them on here on YouTube that are pulling this same shit I'm showing you that right here, because that's where mine start. The overt surveillance of me started right after an incident that happened on YouTube where they stole my idea, and and then it went on for ever since then. Yeah. Yeah. I understand that you find it hard to function sometimes, mainly because of the distraction that they pose. Um, like when you're thinking about something, they'll manipulate that. They'll manipulate, what you're thinking, and you'll be distracted trying to block what they're trying to put in your head. Remote neural monitoring is no bullshit. Um, they can manipulate people with it. I've seen it firsthand where right in front of me they took over somebody, and that person wasn't the person they were before. That was some. It was like they're, for lack of a better word, possessed. But what it is they're being like remote controlled, for lack of a better word, term, whatever. Like not really hypnotized, but actually someone else, speaking for them, and they don't even know it. I don't know if you've ever seen that happen, but I have. Where I mean, the person you're talking to in mid sentence all of a sudden changes. Oh well, they see everything you're reading, and they read along with you, don't they? You hear the person that is monitoring you, repeating everything you say, everything you look at. If you're watching television, they'll present that shit as like it's you doing it, even though it isn't. Like, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Um, they're always trying to pull this shit that when they say it, they say Scotty's stupid, he's an idiot. Um, I've been to college. I have a relatively high IQ, 148. Um, the last IQ test I took the Mensa test, the Norwegian Mensa test, and I scored pretty high on that. It only goes to 140, and I got like a 107 on that, and that's extremely brilliant. Not genius on there, but I got over genius on every other one. Um, but that's not the point. The point is no matter what you say or how smart or whatever you are, they're going to demean you. It's all there is to it. They demean my music. I'll be sitting there playing guitar, and oh, he sucks, he's horrible, blah blah blah. They talk crap about my art, but if it's also horrible, why the fuck are you stealing it? Why are you stealing it if it's so horrible and trying to claim it as yours? And if I'm so dumb, why do they steal some of the things that I say and say, "Oh, this is my idea," blah blah blah. This is something I say all the time. Like when you say something to somebody and you say, "Well, how long have you been doing that?" I said, "Well, I don't do it anymore, or less than I did before." And they use that over and over. That's a saying I say sometimes. But yeah, I stuttered, studied, I stuttered, yeah, I stuttered right there. I studied computer science in college and minored in art. Had a 3.25 grade point average, and the only reason that I had that is because I failed C++ because I didn't finish the final. My mother and my sister had just recently died, and I just really didn't give a fuck anymore, and I didn't bear down and finish it. I had it most of the way done, but I didn't get it done, so I failed that class. I got an incomplete on it, so that dropped my 3.89 or 85 or whatever down to 3.25. Would have almost been a 4.0. I only had one B in one class through the whole time I was there. Everything else was A's. Um, let me tell you about that, John. Those people that uh, either refuse to, accept evidence as it's presented. You can present patents, um, and I always try to uh, interject with some of the Edward Snowden interview where he literally talks about the NSA using remote neural monitoring in part of his interview. And that was, I'm not sure of the date, 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, that he's talking about it. How they can, how he was watching them as they were surveying someone using the technology, seeing that person as they typed, as they would type out whatever sentence they were typing, would see them backspace and rethink what they were going to retype. And he said, we can do that. And they've been doing it for a long time. This when I see this stuff about Havana syndrome, and how it's a mystery to them, I, I have to laugh because I know it's not a fucking mystery to them. I know it isn't. That's that's just some BS because they know they've been doing it, and now it's out of their control. Criminals are doing it back to them, but they don't want to admit, you know, that they've been effing us over with it, for a dozen years or more, or however long they've been pulling this crap on people since whenever. When B2K kicked in, I tested them to prove they could read my mind. Yeah. There was a YT show last night with 1,000 people discrediting our experience and laughing. I provided official Air Force research lab documents proving it's happening, then shut them up a little. Well, see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a big corrupt system. Um, as you've probably heard before, for every target, there's a group of, let's say, 20 individuals that are assigned to affect that person. Okay, right. That's just an estimate, and that's just um, the way the program works. They have to have a group of people because it isn't. They aren't going to just send one or two or three people to do all this crazy stuff. You're not going to have one or two people that are following you, driving by, doing this stuff. They have a large group affixed to every target. So logically, the numbers are, if let's say there's 100 targets, multiply per target by 20 to 50 other people. So you got 30,000 people or more focusing on 100 targets. Now let's say there's 100,000 targets, which is probably a low estimate since this is a worldwide organized criminal organization. And I'm serious about criminal. I don't care if they're advertising on Google or not in a legitimate company, they're doing criminal shit. Um, that makes them a criminal. If they're trying to set people up and frame them for things they didn't do, that makes them criminals. If they're making up lies like saying like they do with me, saying I have a nuke, come on, that's criminal. That's criminal slander. The shit they do is criminal. It's all criminal. I don't give a fuck if they're the police. They're criminals. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, as far as doing shielding and all that stuff, when your targeting goes overt, right? When they're willing to come and harass you and not hide it, they've already gained all the information they wanted from you long before that. For from a few years of targeting before, they've already got everything. While they weren't letting you know they were targeting you. So shielding yourself isn't gonna stop them slandering you, harassing you, threatening you. You may not hear the V2K or have them, the dream manipulation or the remote neural monitoring going on, but they still already have all the information. They've already got all your medical records, all your credit information, all your social security information, every bit of information they could get from you, enough to hurt you without without ever talking to you about it. Because they'd already been doing it before they let you know they were harassing you. Um, that's just it. I don't know how effective any of the shielding could be, because the only way that you could really effectively shield yourself from something is to know exactly what you're shielding yourself from. Well, going going into what TL just said about doing a freedom of information, asking about other people reporting it, and they say no one, right? That's obviously a lie. But this right here, I don't know if you hear it. You hear the helicopter going along. Um, there's never a lot that goes on around my trailer park here, right? But um, as if I'm the bullseye, you get the circling helicopters, or they hover above my house. Um, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but you using the V2K and however they modulate the oscillation of sound. You hear the helicopter flying around my house. Um, you they use the rotor wash, and I don't know if that's being used like with audio spotlight, how if you point it at something it'll reflect to the person that you're focusing on, but like the helicopter speaking and doing their shit for them. I don't know if any of you've experienced that. If you got my point, where um, now I don't know if you've ever had this happen before. I'd called law enforcement, called 911 once, had them. They came out and did a call and spoke to me, and I said, I'm getting death threats from neighbors and shit. And I don't know if you've ever heard a police officer say this before, but they said, "Oh, we can't do anything about death threats." I said, I flat out looked at this officer and I said, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You can't do anything about death threats?" Well, see, that's what I'm saying. um, with uh, if it is like an RF based or SDR, satellite defined radio broadcast that they're piggybacking on or whatever, if you encase yourself in metal, you're creating an even more effective antenna for the shit to be blasting you with. You put a fucking tinfoil hat on like some people have, you're effectively putting a fucking antenna on your head. Yeah, those are two pertinent comments I'm going to post for you. Um, never police never help unless Police never help unless there is a crime and tangible evidence. I went to the local police here and the sheriff told me, "I have seen a dead man before and you don't seem to be dangerous." Speaking of a dead man, um, there's always this spiel that they use on V2K to their viewers that "I killed him, he's dead." And what I gather from that is the Radaris profile they created about me. They list me as deceased. It actually lists me as deceased, so I think that's where they go with that I'm dead. But obviously, I'm not dead. I'm here speaking to you. Yeah, same here, Scott. They said unless they steal something or hurt you, stop recording. Well, see, that's just it. They have stole things. They've stole a lot of things. They've stole a lot of stuff from me, and I'm sure they've stole a lot of stuff from you too. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, they they know you're being targeted because I'm of the belief or the assumption that you know since they do fly around your house and drive by, and many targets have had it happen with their harassment, that the police are involved in it. So I don't care. I don't care that they're law enforcement. If they're doing this, they're criminals. That's criminal activity, and they're perpetuating it. I reported it to the FBI. Right, I went into the FBI. I went to the FBI office. I had the evidence of my hacked computer. Um, I had evidence of them, you know, uh, stealing parts of my identity, using my identity. Da 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 da. Um, they took my evidence and said, "Can we talk to your wife for a minute?" And then I went outside and I heard them. They're saying, "Oh, well, we think your husband needs help," and like I need help, like medical help, and like I'm paranoid or something. But they didn't bother taking into account the evidence. They just followed the gang stalker type narrative, like the schizophrenia bullshit. You're not fucking schizophrenic, people. You're not schizophrenic. You're not paranoid. Um, the definition of paranoia is that you're reading into things that aren't happening. well, this shit's happening. I'm not reading the shit. I'm not embellishing on the shit. I'm looking at the actual evidence, the actual stalking, the following, the harassment, the threats, the thefts. That's not fucking paranoia. That's documented proof, critical thinking to a conclusion, not paranoia. Speaking of what you just said, Sammy, um, as like I said, I've reported things to the FBI, the CIA, on their websites. You know how you submit a tip or a report. It's an ICS-3 report for the FBI, and it's something else for the CIA. But DHS also has a tip submission tab. I submitted one to them, um, and they, being the only ones that replied to me, said, "Thank you for submitting your tip and this information. We'll look into it and get back to you." That was over a year ago. Was the last tip or information I have provided to any agency, alphabet soup agency. Um, that's why I'm researching who else you could contact that might be of more legitimate assistance. Say something as along the lines of what part of the CIA internal affairs type department or DOD Pentagon, because when you have a body of evidence, and I think I have a body of evidence because all these recordings are, people speaking. Granted, sometimes you can't, the listener can't discern what they're saying, but I know that should someone of technical prowess pick them apart, would be able to discern the number of voices and everything said on every one of these recordings and gather evidence. I know you are, John. You said Yorkshire, if I remember right. I don't blame you for not bothering because they don't listen. That's why I say when you see that over 200 CIA operatives here and abroad have been affected by Havana syndrome, which is this shit, which is just what's happening to us. The same symptoms. I have to stress that like us, which you are now their surveillance equipment. Your eyes, your ears are now their surveillance equipment. So these fuckers are remote neural monitoring CIA operatives, if you get my point. And um, when you think about it, like I've said before, or I thought before, whatever, um, the FBI is investigating it now, right? So, um, since when did the Central Intelligence Agency need a lesser entity such as the FBI to investigate for them? Now, also bear in mind there are 200 CIA agents and Pentagon employees in the Havana Syndrome investigation. Why? Why are none of them FBI agents that are being affected? I do too, TL. I really think they do. And that's why I just, when they call it a mystery to them, right? The Havana Syndrome is a mystery weapons. I call BS. I call BS because the NSA been using this crap for maybe multiple decades, not just a couple. And it's not a mystery. The mystery is how are we going to deal with it and not get screwed for doing this shit to people for the last 20 or 30 years. And, now that it's in the hands of criminals that are doing it to us, what the fuck? I mean, first of all, the reason I gather why you can't get a precedent set in a courtroom is because once a precedent is set for one targeted individual, keep in mind, one targeted individual, he receives a judgment for the plaintiff, the target. And let's say with the judgment, the judge says, oh, compensation of $10 million for all of the intellectual, all the crap, for the pain and suffering, all the ailments, whatever, thefts, blah blah blah. That precedence is set. That opens the door for the other 2 million odd targets in the world that go to court, get a judgment for $10 million, and economy worldwide is fucked. So, as I say, it's much more cost effective to spend $3 to $10 billion destroying all the targets and lying and covering it up than it is to admit it and give them a day in court and have a $10 trillion debt to pay and a bunch of people going to prison. See you later, Theo. Have a good night. Because, like I say, obviously, big money's behind this. There is a lot of money behind this because they're making a lot of money um, using fraud, theft, what have you. Of course, they don't want to lose that. You know, I mean, regardless of collateral damage to however many millions of people worldwide are being, lives ruined, killed, whatever, families, names destroyed, whatever. Yeah, that we will be well insured too. Comment goes hand in hand with the Frankenstein fraud. Well, of course I do. That's what that goes with the remote neural monitoring, John. You can't have a dream without them manipulating it with the remote neural monitoring. Um, I am of the opinion that you know um, a lot of this is controlled by AI. And granted, you have the real players, the people, but the AI program is definitely involved. Hi, Archimedes girl. How are you this evening? Good to see you. Um, just since you came in here, I'll give you the scoop on what this recording is. Well, my last video is about the the harassment they were giving me after they accused me saying I had a nuclear weapon of all things. Um, yeah, granted, I'm pretty smart. Okay, I'm not going to deny, not going to toot my horn, but I'm not an idiot. But I'm not building a nuclear weapon out of a coffee can in my bathroom. Yeah, but that's just that I mean it sounds funny, but it's not really funny considering that they've gone so far as to say I'm a murderer, rapist, all this other shit. Why wouldn't they go to the extremes, saying I have access to nuclear weapons. Um, the other aspect of that is one morning as they were waking me up with V2K harassment, they asked me what the nuclear access codes were, like I'm privy to that information. And that really pissed me off because I'm like, okay, the first thing I thought was they're able to, glean whatever information they want from anyone they want. Now, what if I had known them? What if I were, an individual with a security clearance to know such things like, you know, uh, troop maneuvers, nuclear access codes, blah blah blah. They're able to do this shit to anyone. There's no way to stop it. There's no firewall to stop it. There's no safety protocols to stop it. There's no way to stop it. And the proof of that is they're doing it to CIA agents now and, Pentagon personnel. So one day they're going to get that one person. They're going to find that one person that has such information like that, and they're going to have it. So I go back to this. This is like one of the most dangerous weapons on the planet because anyone's privacy is no longer their own. I don't care if you're in a meeting, with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, right? Um, if they're remote neural monitoring CIA agents, which now in effect turns them into the surveillance equipment, so they're seeing through what they're seeing and they're hearing what the CIA agents are seeing or saying or talking to. They see every top secret document, uh, all that. So everything that those CIA agents are privy to, they are now privy to. Well, the question you just posed right there, I'm going to put that up. Now, as far as my experience goes, if they aren't able to give you a social cue or, a, 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 a a leading message, right? The information isn't going to be readily available in your visual cortex. If you understand what I mean. If it's not something that you are currently thinking about, it's roaming around in your neurons somewhere. But that I'm thinking they are not able to just pull that up. They can't just say, "Oh, we're going to look over here." They're connected to your nervous system, which is directly connected to your cortex and your thinking process. So You have to be thinking about this shit for them to be able to get the EMF broadcast to read it, to get a to get a to get data. Yeah. So I mean, that's why they try to make you run through your history and memories and all that crap so they can get a picture um, of what's happening. Hi, Sai. How are you doing? So that's where I'm at on that question of yours right there. Um, but the other part is if they're able to, do like I've experienced and take over a person, or basically put your psyche aside while while that person, whoever is possessing you, um, they're not seeing the mind of the person they're possessing. That other person is actually like remote controlling you like a video game, not actually using your knowledge or you know your your thought process. uh, I totally agree with you right there, John. You have to be strong minded, and um, I am of the opinion that, let's say, when you focus when you focus on something, right? Let's say if you're meditating or you're really focused, like you're writing a paper or you're reading, they get a really clear picture because you're focused on it. There's there's not you're not having a random thoughts, like if you're sitting there just daydreaming. They're getting a bunch of jumbled images. But when you're focused, they can get a clear picture. A defined they can use their predictive programming to get a totally focused, clear picture of what you're thinking and what you're experiencing. So I've found when they were, trying to neural monitor the fuck out of me, okay, make me think of stuff, showing me pictures and all crap. Even when my eyes were open to, to think. Um, think random thoughts. Keep your thought. Just think of the most oddball, random, retarded shit you can imagine. Just to throw them off, because then they can't really get a clear picture. Oh, okay, I've got to say this. I know a lot of people think this, that um, it sounds like science fiction. I know. I understand. It sounds bizarre, like the Twilight Zone or Tales from the Crypt or whatever, or, you know, um, CIA espionage crap. But the reality, it is. But the only problem is it's not. It's not being used to protect secrets. It's being used now to steal them, to get them from everyone that they want. Um, which it just goes back to privacy and security issues of your civil rights being demeaned and defamed and destroyed. um I have a question for you, Archimedes girl. What do you think about those voices that I have on my recording here? It sounds like several people, right? Several people talking at once. If you're still here. The last recording I did, which was recorded the same night as this one, was a lot more obnoxious and loud. The voices were a lot more defined. Yeah, it is a group of people. That is absolutely certain. It is a group of people. There are a couple voices like Ian's and Michael's that or Gino's that are really prevalent because they're presenting the stream to the other people in the Zoom or wherever the hell they're doing it at, or Discord or whatever speaking or streaming program they're using. Uh, well, I, I will tell you, Sammy Terry, that I've done a shit ton of research. I've watched other people's channels, but I've reserved my conclusions to facts. I'm not going into conjecture about religion, aliens, uh, demons. I'm sticking to the technology, um, because that's real. You get what I'm. That's tangible. Um, I mean, when they first started targeting me overtly, they came to me with, "We're the men in black, and we want to recruit you to help us." Blah blah blah. And when that didn't work, they said, "Oh, we're the FBI. We want to help. We want you to help us." Blah blah blah. And they said, "Oh, we're aliens." Blah blah blah. We're they're demons. They're all demons. We're all demons, and we're trying to protect you. It's all fucking bullshit. They're sick people, criminals, terrorists that provide disinformation. And I, 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 I have to say that some of the people that are presenting things on YouTube are using disinformation. They're not sticking to the technology. They're they're bringing God into it, like, God speaking to me, telling me this, whatever. Uh, a fungus. Gotta be kidding me. A fungus. Fungus doesn't fucking follow you around, harass you, steal your identity. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Um, Technology. It's technology. It is being broadcast, used, per- proliferated through a criminal syndicate of terrorists, and they're organized and they have a shit ton of money behind them. It's the simple facts. 100%, John. It's the technology, it's people for profit. They're using it for profit for monetary gain. They don't give a rat's ass about your religion, your lack of religion, your sexual orientation, but they will use that against you. I did not think you were trying to discredit me, Archimedes girl. I was just trying to cover my bases and make my mission clear. My mission is about this technology, the sick people using it against innocent people around the world. I will say this about how you're talking about teachers, assistants, nurses, pimps, etc. How they recruit people. They recruit people by targeting them, finding out something that hurts them, and then blackmailing them into help them. I don't know if you heard that. That was just my neighbor stalker, Ian, yelling some shit saying, "Oh, that's bullshit." It isn't bullshit. Uh, I have a screenshot of Ian that he's followed me on my second Twitter even after I deactivated the first Twitter when I had all the harassment from the people on here on YouTube, that I deactivated the Twitter, and I only have 3 or 4 followers now. He's one of them because he followed me over there, and I've showed a clip of my Twitter where he was harassing somebody named OP Zillion who is disabled, and accusing him not of being a fake disabled person faking disability like he does me. He accuses me all the time of being not being disabled, and he says that I've never been in the Navy, which I was. He just, he's a liar, a scumbag, and he's a fucker that came out and assaulted me with a hatchet and was always talking shit. That's a good question, Archimedes girl. Um, when they tried to recruit me, right? One of the 4 times they tried to recruit me, they said, "Look, if you join us and help us, this won't happen to you anymore." That's probably a big part of why they're able to get people to do it, because they'll give you that. They'll give you that, spiel that, okay, well, if you join us and help us, You won't be, you won't be harassed and targeted anymore. You're going to be one of us. Like I've said before, I'm Luke Skywalker, motherfucker. I'll never join you. I I don't care if you come and blow my fucking brains out. I'm going to sleep knowing I'm honorable and have integrity. Because I would never do this shit to another person. I will say this regarding your question: is the TI left alone if they submit? I don't think so. The reason why I say I don't think so because now they're part of them, and I would think they would continue to monitor you, just not harass you as a target. Now they're just going to keep an eye on you and make sure you're not trying to, you know, harm them while you're performing whatever script or skit they've got you doing against the target that they send you after. So I really don't think they leave you alone. I just think that now you're beholden to them and a slave, even more than a target or as much, just in a different way. That's something else. As far as you're talking about, offered you money. Say uh, uh, one of them makes 2K a week. Um, I'm not going to go into the exorbitant shit that they offered me. Um, Women, money, stature. Just here not long ago. I'm not searching for a job. I'm not even looking for a job on any of the job search sites. Blah blah blah. I got an email from a media company offering me 42K a year as I can't remember some kind of management position for 12 to 16 hours a week. 42K a year. And I I know that's part of the honeypot, and I'm not interested. I I can't be bought. Period. I don't care. I'm not going to be bought to do this. I, I don't give a shit if they give me Elon Musk's money. I wouldn't do this to another motherfucker. As far as what you just said there, John, if you do anything they ask, it just escalates. From my experience, if let's say you're you're thinking of taking an aspirin, right? They'll say, "Oh, he's going to take some aspirin," and you'll take them, and they see, I made him take aspirin. They're going to make it look like they're controlling you. That's what they're trying to do, is make it look like, you're a pawn of theirs. If you say, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom," to yourself, they're going to hear that and they're going to tell everybody else, "Oh, he's going to go to the bathroom. I'm making him go to the bathroom." And you go to the bathroom, and they're going to go, "See, I can make him do whatever I want." Sounds ridiculous, sounds ludicrous, sounds funny, but that's how stupid these people are. Well, John, our experience is just like all the other targets because it's a script. There are phases. That's that's how come it goes off without, a hitch, because they they carbon copy it per every per every target. But there's subtle nuances that personally pertain to you. The overall story is the same. All the threats, the harassment, all that crap. The the game is the same. You're just a different player in it with a different, you know, different avatar. I think this is about over. It's 25 minutes and 46 seconds, and there's only like a minute left. I'm just going to stop it. There's nothing much after this. It was at 25 minutes and 50 seconds, so there's only 26 minutes and 9 seconds to this one. But um, as the overall story goes with your antagonists, um, you being the protagonist, or the main character in their story, movie, whatever they present it as. um, I found a link on a website by someone named Yuri, can't remember the last name, or Yuki, that wrote a book about me. I copied the link to my Facebook. I went to go download it, and between the time I went and copied the link and posted it on my Facebook and went back to download it, it had been removed. Um, and that's happened with a couple other things. So it's obvious that they're ready at a moment's notice to remove the crap that they're posting about you. Um, uh, like, let's say they're perpetrating this spiel or whatever on a YouTube channel, they probably record it and delete it. Now, granted, should you be able to track where it's coming from or who is doing this thing to you, all this stuff, everything on YouTube, right? Every video, every channel, every username, is linked to a person, right? Or people. Every bit of it's archived. Okay. Every bit of the information on YouTube is archived at Google, right? Google is YouTube's the sister company of Google. So everything you're seeing here, even if you delete this, there's a record of it everywhere. Now, granted, they'll hide your comments. They'll hide their comments. They'll make crappy comments on your channel with harassment or whatever, and then hide them. But you can defeat that by going in your channel settings and have all notifications or comments sent directly to your email, so you have a copy of them, even though it's hidden on your channel or deleted. Obviously, Anthony Abate, they're monitoring us. But I can give you another instance that proves what I'm saying. I have a recording that I used audio, an audio program to make a video to download to YouTube, and I put it on YouTube. It's called V2K Short, and it is like a 35-minute recording of V2K of them harassing me. On my channel, it has 27 views. On this other site I found, which I can't get to because they removed it or whatever, but I do have the link, and the amount of views that it got from that channel was 2,601,421. But on my channel, it has 27 views. So they recorded it, put it somewhere else, and invited 2,601,000 people to view it. On anybody's channel, that's a play button, right? On any YouTube channel, you get 2,600,000 views in less than a month, you're going to get a play button. Period. Going to get a golden one. Or diamond, whichever it is. I am absolutely certain they're doing that with all of my videos, and probably yours too if you're a target. Well, because you're being targeted and they're manipulating your shit. If you're being remote neural monitored, Roger, they know all your passwords. They have access to all your channels, and they don't have to hack because they can just log right the fuck in. So, and even though I've taken steps to try and protect my passwords using a remote, a random password generator, and not even looking at the password and select all and copy and paste it and not even knowing it and let Google control that, they're still able to hide my comments. So obviously they had a keylogger or some kind of infrared viewing to, or a screen screen share on my computer, even though I have any remote access turned off, all that crap. I turn all that shit off. I don't have no Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi program to run the Wi-Fi. I deleted it. The Wi-Fi card doesn't work because there's no drivers for it. Bluetooth is deactivated. I got rid of all the drivers for it. So there are ways that, let's say Microsoft, for instance, they can get they have on your computer what is called infrared access, um, which doesn't require an internet access, so that even though you're not connected to the internet, Microsoft can get um, you know update information or whatever off of your computer without having an internet access using infrared. Um, you you have no control over that. Also, there is internet, right? You're, you can research this. I don't know how far you have to, but on every electrical outlet has internet. The technology is real. It exists. They don't use it because whether they want to use it for their own purposes or whatever, the story is that they can't they can't monitor your usage, so they can't control how much bandwidth you're able to capture from it. And I had read about that um 15 years ago when I was researching things just because. But well, yeah, don't call it a grid for nothing, right? Um, and let's say uh, you use the infrared access. You have to know about it to use it, and then you have to find how you use it, which is not something that they readily have available to the public because they don't want you to use it. Um, but uh, I, you say you came off of Twitter and FB a long time ago. Too much hacking and grief from perps. Well, see that's part of the reason I deactivated my first Twitter was because I was getting harassment and mean bullshit and crap from perps, YouTube perps, from the comic book community, where all this crap started for me, overtly anyway. But on closer inspection, after I realized I was being targeted, I understand that it's been going on with me for 20 years now. Um, and I understand that because of a song that I wrote 20 some years ago that two guys were sitting out in front of the house, my apartment, when I had my window open with a boombox. And I know they recorded it because I'd only played it that one time. And in less than a year, a well known music group was playing my song on the radio on, uh, I think it was, I think it was, uh, I think it was K Rock, but I can't remember. But anyway, it was my song, and I know that. And it really pissed me off and hurt my feelings. But what were you going to do about it? Perp World, huh? You've heard of Perp World? The song that I just, when I was walking around the grocery store, was singing? that I created. Really? I was just walking around Winco singing that. Holy shit. Where did you hear it? Are you saying it was recorded and someone's taking credit for it? Because I was walking around Winco singing it, making it up as I went. And that was only a month ago. Month and a half, not even a month ago. Where did you hear it? So you believe me now, huh? Oh, motherfucker. Oh. Yeah, well, uh I've always obviously already known that there's that every song I've sat here and thought of, they've used. This little shit right here next door records it. His name's Ian Sendra. I could put a face to the little bastard and the other bastards in this trailer park that are perps doing that shit. They stole my artwork. They stole my music. And you just proved it to me. You're hearing it on YouTube. You're hearing the song Perp World that I fucking wrote walking around Winco on YouTube. I didn't write it. I was singing it. It was a song I was singing that I made up. So, yeah. Thank you for the validation, sweetheart. Do a copyright song for him, Scott? uh, well, um, I'm going to mention the name of the song that I wrote 21 years ago, sitting in my apartment. And you tell me if you've heard it. Like a Stone. That these two assholes were sitting in front of my apartment recording it on a boombox. And that was 21 years ago. So, um, that logically is probably why my targeting started. Oh, no, what you telling me right here doesn't upset me. You you vindicated a lot of shit for me right here just saying that. You validated me right there. That's 100% validation. I mean, validated. Um, Now, what's that going to get me? You know, but I'm absolutely certain you've heard Like a Stone. Absolutely 100% certain you've heard it. And I wrote that shit, every word of it. I wrote all the guitar, all of it. I did all of it, all by myself. Yeah, but now I can prove that because Winco has security cameras of me walking around singing Purple World. Bullshit talking, gang stalking, grandma with her walker. Gang stalker, it's a perp world. Follow you down the street, every motherfucker that you meet, 'cause it's a perp world. Yeah, that's me. That's my shit. Huh. That's just, yeah, that's just, yeah. I just, I can't respond. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, but, I wrote that song Like a Stone while I was sitting there waiting for my wife to come home from work. It's about her. And the people who recorded it try to say that it's about something else, which is farther from the truth it could be, because that's what it's about. It's about my wife and me sitting there waiting for her, being lonely. Another song I wrote while laying in my bed, brushing my wife's hair, rubbing my wife's hair. It's called Ocean in Your Eyes. And they stole that too. Or Stars in Your Eyes, depending on what I would name it, whichever one. And they also created a song called Scott's a Criminal. And it's got a, they were singing it to me on B2K, playing it, making it up about me, about Scott's a criminal, which I'm not. I don't do much of anything but sit here. TI show, huh? What's that? I've never watched it. Well, anyway, You bet. It was a catchy tune. Um, yeah. I don't know what to say to that. Um, maybe I'm more famous than 142 subscribers. Well, obviously, 2.6 million people have looked at my B2K short by Scott Schmear, which is me. That's a lot of people, and that's just one video. Now, this lends credence to my knowledge that my targeting is about my music, it's about my art, and it has been for over 20 years now. And that's probably why they want to kill me. Think think it could possibly be part of the reason, and why I have perps coming in here saying, "Why would anybody want to target you? You're not important." Apparently, that's just absolute bullshit. A lot more important than even I was first privy to these people. I don't know if you saw it, but Meatloaf came into my channel last night. Meatloaf official. Well, whether it's really Meatloaf or not, and I mean Melvin Addy Meatloaf. And whether it was really Meatloaf, I don't know, but uh, who knows, right? Only he would know. I did not mean crazy in a negative sense. What I meant is that it's crazy that I know your song. Does that make any sense? I didn't mean it offensively. I didn't take offense to it because that is pretty bizarre, isn't it? Pretty bizarre. I, you know, over on Surviving the Storms channel, um, when I was talking about gang stalking and my channel, and what you would see over here and hear over here could weird you out. I mean, I get weirded out by it. It's happening to me, and I still, for years now, and I get fucking weirded out about it. So you, the viewer, coming and seeing it, are like, got to be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Well, that's why I taped the last one that I added in my video. I I recorded it and put it on my YouTube right after I recorded it during the broadcast about and it's called right here on YouTube, and it has some lyrics in it about you know the drama. So you cry to your mama. They said it was wrong and it was drama. You tend to think they would blame Obama. Right here on YouTube. Um, and it's got some other lyrics about the drama and stuff. Cry to your wife. You said it wasn't right. And you said I don't give a shit right here on YouTube. But yeah, you can go back to I think it's 2 videos before this that was one of the videos where I presented some of the screenshots about the proof I have of them, impersonating me, the identity theft, the Twitter harassment shit, and just whatever. Well, uh, I don't talk about her. This person I'm going to talk about. Um, the deal with you and TT, um, which turned me off right there. Only because of what was said to me before that. I mean, when I was talking to her and she said, telling me, "Oh, you're on a whole nother level. You're paranoid." And I was like, "Okay, that's it. That's the last time I'm watching your channel. You know, sorry. So I'm not paranoid." But what she said to you that night, that that broke the camel's back for me over there. Regardless of what trials and tribulations she's going to, I wasn't dealing with that. Sorry. Well, no, I'm sorry she said that to you. I mean, you were a fucking mod on her channel, and she's gonna talk to you like that? No, fuck that shit. Sorry, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. But no, I haven't been back, and I'm not gonna go back there. Um, but that's the last thing you'll ever hear me say about it or her. Um, really? Say that again, buddy. I don't think anybody heard you. I don't know if you heard that. I'm not going to repeat it. If he wants to, he can repeat it because he's watching everything. He's looking at me through the remote neural monitoring, so he's watching everything, whether he's in here or not. Did you hear that? He said you're sick. Yeah, you're crazy, bitch. You're fucking crazy, bitch. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That's what I'm talking about. This little perp son of a bitch next door is probably one of I'm absolutely certain he's one of them, but behind a lot of this shit. But a lot of it started since he moved in. The overt stuff. SHP YouTube? No, I haven't. What's that about, John? I might check it out. Actually, no, I haven't. I was always told by people to go check out look out for Charlie's channel. I looked at one video of his that was like from 2017 talking about a fungus being responsible for all this stuff. Fucking utter bullshit. A fungus doesn't follow you around. A fungus doesn't get people to fucking stalk you, harass you, steal your identity, fucking your intellectual property, monitor your visual cortex. Fucking just bullshit. It's fungus. Give me a break. Yeah. No, he's a perp. I obvious perp. He's, like I say, he's the one that fucking he attacked me, came out and fucking attacked me with a hatchet, for fuck's sake. I'll look at it. I will look at it. SHP. S. Is that it? Just capital SH space P. Okay, I'll look for it. But I've named several of the people that I know are behind my stalking. I have no problem, since I know they've doxed the shit out of me with 2.6 million people. Much. What should I worry about it? What are they gonna do? Kill me? Okay. He's not gonna say anything. He's obviously not gonna say anymore that you could hear. I don't know if you heard what he said, where he said, "You're sick. You're fucking crazy." Blah blah blah. Yeah. If he wasn't watching what's going on here, right? How would he know to reply like that? Right? Does that make sense? Well, see, that's just it, Archimedes girl. That's why I'm doing this all. Uh, I mean, I'm not the only person that they're doing it to. You see another one right here, and there are hundreds more. Okay, now I, I'm not saying all of them are actual targets. The reason why I say that is because I'm perfectly understanding in the possibility that some of them are fake, and they're causing just propagating disinformation. But you have to sort those out for yourself. Um, but I as it goes. But I've been on here almost 2 hours. I think I better call it a night. I'm glad you came out. I thank you for coming out and listening to me and talking to me. And thanks for the validation about that song, Archimedes girl, that they're stealing my freaking music. You too, John. You said you heard it on another YouTube. So I appreciate that. Appreciate the validation, and have a good night and enjoy yourselves and the rest of your week.